welcome back to another episode of the Shed Geek Podcast. And here for round number 2, we got Judd on here earlier, but now it's time to interrogate Chad here. And Chad, tell you what, just maybe introduce yourself, tell the audience a little bit about who you are and what you do, maybe.
Yeah, well, I'm Chad Gingerich, and I'm a partner in Ash's Utility Buildings, and I'm happy to be here today. Thank you for the interrogation.
Well, hasn't started yet, but here we go. Well, appreciate you guys. We laid out some cool Ash's stuff here. You know what? This is what I try to tell people whenever I say I'm a shed geek. You know, I keep these things by state in a binder in my office.
Okay.
So I'm a bit of a geek. I think I've got probably around 300 brochures.
Oh, really?
Yeah, at this point, maybe more. But I'd say at least that much minimal. And I learned from that. You know, I really, truly take that opportunity seriously to be able to be with in the shed industry, really, learning about what people do and what makes. We were talking earlier, what makes the things different from cookie cutter to special.
And the cool thing, it's at the end of the day, it's a shed, but there's so many differences in how we lay them out as far as, whatever, in the construction side. There is a lot of differences that we know in the shed industry, but some of the public are not as familiar with.
They're not. Yeah, you have to be in the industry to kind of get some of these thoughts, and you guys are cool enough to give me this cool little Ash's coffee cup, so I appreciate that. That's cool. Burkesville, Kentucky. We're at Ash's. Tell me a little bit, Chad. How did you come to know the shed industry? Like, most people don't wake up unless you're second, third generation shed builder or something like that, and you folks have been in it for a while. How do you just end up, owner of Ash's Utility? How's that happen?
Well, it was an interesting way we got here, actually. So growing up 30 years ago, my father started a concrete company.
Okay.
Gingerich Concrete was the name of that. And he grew that to, there was 20, 25 employees.
Oh, wow.
And when that was since I was on. After I came on, we grew it to there.
Okay.
But backing up, he started in the residential side. A lot of decorative concrete. We done a lot of done ICF wall forms or ICF basements.
Okay.
And so then we got an aluminum set of wall forms. We started doing basements, and from there we got into. I got older. I had two older brothers that were very much involved as well, and so as we grew and we got into the commercial side, and so it was definitely a interesting transition.
Sure. It's hard work, man.
It's
concrete work. I've done a little bit of concrete work, not much. I don't think I was made for it, but it was much harder than my liking.
It is. It's actually, to be honest with you, I'm going to say residential is harder work than commercial because of the equipment. When we got out of the business, we had 2 laser screeds, we had ride and trowel machines, we had a lot of the equipment to mitigate some of the work. Of course, then we could also do a lot more square feet at a time, a lot of big slabs and such.
So you said, we're tired of this, we're getting in sheds.
Pretty much. That was kind of the
oh no,
what happened.
It went completely dead, didn't it? Let's see.
Yeah.
I'm wondering if... Oh, it might be down here. It's possible. Got it? I'm wondering if that might have just hit it. Oh yeah. All good. Oh, lost power. I was like, the lights are still on. I don't know what's going on.
Hopefully you can reboot right where you're at.
Yeah, we'll be all right.
We'll be all right.
Yeah, I'll be able to. Yeah, it'll just pick right back up. So anyway, got tired of concrete, and you said we're getting in sheds.
Well, it was sort of like that.
Okay.
Not necessarily. We knew we were wanting to do something different. We were not sure if we were just going to size it back and just go back into residential work, but because commercial, probably the biggest thing is we had to travel a lot. There's not a whole lot around here of any size, no large towns around us really.
Yeah.
Got to travel and stay overnight, and we all got married and had a few kids, and so we were tired of traveling and running all over the countryside. So this Ashes came up for sale, and so we were. I first thought it was like, absolutely not. Why? Like that was something that I never anticipated owning a shed company. It just was not in my line of our scope of business. I didn't realize what all it entailed and what that took. So we were, I think we were confronted by the owner. He was like, "Hey, he wants to sell. Would you be interested?" And
did he give like a reason as to why? I mean, I'm hearing, even now in early 2023 that, we've been talking about acquisitions are going to happen, I think, more and more over time, and maybe they happen for bigger shed companies or, investment firms or even RTO companies or whatever, are looking to buy. And I've been telling people, hey, if you're looking to sell, contact me. I'd love to, love to broker, those opportunities. What a cool time to be in, where we are maturing in that industry, and love capturing those stories, too, as well. Anyway, was there kind of a thought behind,
why he wanted to sell?
Retirement, it's time to get out? Or?
He moved. He wanted to get out of the community.
Yeah.
He went back to Pennsylvania.
Okay.
Where he was. Now we didn't buy it directly from the Ashes.
Okay.
So there was a gentleman in between the Ashes and us, Richard Huber.
Okay.
This was his name. Great guy. He just wanted to move back to Pennsylvania where his family was there.
Yeah.
He just wanted to get back there. So no, there was nothing. No.
I mean, the business is strong.
It was a small business.
Matter of fact, when you bought it was probably getting ready to take off.
That's what he said. That he was like, I've got everything kind of set up here to kind of plane or to go upward. So we looked this thing over and we said no. We're not going.
Not our thing.
Not our. The money. We weren't sure if it was worth it.
Yeah.
And we kind of let it go.
Yeah.
And so they had contacted another company to buy. To come in and evaluate it, and we're going to buy it. And we said, "Oh, that's fine." So they said, "Oh, we're only going to give X." Well, and then they said, "Okay." So they brought that to us. Said, "Would you be willing to pay this?" And then when we were praying about it in that time,
Sure.
and we're like, "Is this what we should do?" We were doing that when we looked at it the first time, and then we were like, "Well, doors closed." When we decided it's not really, we're gonna have to grow it to support us. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But it seemed like the door opened back up, and like, this is what you need to do. When we were approached the second time. So it was kind of interesting how that all fell into place. And so we went through with it. We bought it, and that was in the fall of 2019,
Okay.
I'll say. Fairly certain that's what it was. Sometimes I get 2018 and 2019 there mixed up because it was kind of those 2 years transition in and out of one thing.
Yeah.
So going into it, my brother Ben, he's older. He's 10 years older than I am.
Okay.
He took over Richard he left out. about a week or so later, actually.
Okay.
So Ben took over, and I was finishing up concrete jobs. So I was running the crew. We had let a few guys go, finishing up concrete work. And I worked in that for probably 6 months doing that. And so that was an interesting time. We actually kept on doing concrete for another year or so. My younger brother ran some, and then ran the crew some, and then we sized it way back. But then he bought a set of tools, and that's what he's doing currently as well.
Okay. Otherwise, you guys got out of it.
Otherwise, we did, yes. We sold our equipment and such. And then my next older brother, Japheth, he took over. He went into transportation side of it.
Okay.
So he done all that, and that's how that grew from there. Of course, they had one truck and a trailer and a mule, and we took over. And today we have 4 drivers.
Yeah, you guys are killing it, man.
So we grew that side fairly well, which we had to keep up with the
demand.
the demand
I'm
of
sure.
it. So
What has, like, you kind of entered in an unusual time for sheds. I mean, obviously everybody knows what happened with COVID, and you know, all the government money that was pushed into the society, and sheds became one of those things that, gosh, just it took off, where a lot of other products failed. It seemed like in that moment, backyard storage was something that people were looking for. And I think that's a bit of a testimony to, the bubble that's going to pop. We're always, hearing about the saturation, and I mean, there's a lot. You guys are here, Burkesville, Kentucky. There's a lot of shed manufacturing, corporate manufacturing, for large companies, all throughout the state.
yeah, correct.
I mean, it's so competition is rampant in a sense, but the demand for sheds seems to be just that much more present. I mean, even through COVID. I mean, I don't know if you guys were like everybody else with 8, 10, 12, 15 week lead times and trying to get as much inventory and product as you could.
Yes.
But what a wild time to start in the sheds. Welcome to the shed industry, Chad. Here's 500 orders a day.
Correct. Yes. So yes, it was challenging. I went into sales.
Okay.
That was my role. So for the first year and a half, I believe, I was selling. And we were learning all this stuff, the marketing, it was wild. I'm going to be honest with you.
CRMs.
Yes, and we took, there was none of this stuff in place. So we worked a lot with, E-Impact is our current marketing company, and
awesome.
Great people.
Love the guys at E-Impact.
Yes.
James, we interviewed those guys early on, and Chris, and they just been really cool to work with. Yeah, awesome guys.
Yes, they are. So
talented guys too. They got that new office in New York. Like they're doing big things, man. Big things.
Yes. So of course we work with James a lot, and great guy.
Yeah.
And so he's took us a long ways. From where we started, he can tell you that. Ask him that. He'll tell you.
Well, what a pleasant thing though, especially whenever you're going through this burst onto the scene and learning all about, like I say, these different things, websites and SEO and CRMs. Like, wait a minute, I'm not forming concrete. It's like I thought sheds was building sheds, selling sheds. Where'd all the rest of this stuff come in, and how cool and pleasant was it maybe to have like that person there to be like, hey, I got your back.
It was great.
Yeah.
But at the same time, it was like, you're talking foreign to me. I'm not sure where you're getting at, but okay. Looking back, I'm like, it was very helpful.
Yeah.
And knew what he was talking about. So learned a lot, that's for sure. And I sold a lot. I sold the first year on the phone. I mean, we done a lot of COVID, so you couldn't. A lot of your office in-person stuff was shut down, and my sales lots were open, where all that was supposed to be.
Well, I think a lot of it fell though, under construction.
I think so.
It fell to where you could keep things.
We never
open.
got into any kind of trouble with it.
Yeah.
But yeah, so we sold a lot over the phone. I sold a lot, and so sales was new to me, but I enjoyed it. And
how much different was it coming from construction to sales? Gosh, what a unusual path. I mean,
very
honestly,
much so.
you know, that's not a story that everybody's got. What's some of the things you look back on, like in those moments that you take away from that you're like, I wish I'd have done better? Or what are the things that surprised you the most about, you know, welcome to the shed industry?
Mm-hmm.
What got you that you think it was a big surprise?
Relating to people,
Okay.
it's very important how you portray yourself.
Customer
service.
Yeah.
I was, I see how the importance of it, but at the same time, coming from where I did, I was very much a hands-on.
Okay.
I was a foreman on the job site. So
Your customer were your employees.
exactly, in a
Take care of-
sense, and so therefore that was some different. That was a lot different. In the commercial world, you don't see the your customer necessarily.
Yeah.
You're dealing with a lot of the general contractor and such like that. But so that was a big.
What's
learning
customer
curve.
service look like? If you told me in the shed industry, customer service from a shed manufacturer and someone who's worked in sales, what does that mean? We hear customer service,
Mhm.
but then what is it? What does
What
it
it-
mean? What does it entail? Give me some specifics of what you mean when you say customer service.
Putting it in everyday shoe leather is what
Yeah.
you're asking. That's I'm not gonna say I have it down pat because I
Yeah.
don't. I'm learning, but at the end of the day, I want my customers to be extremely happy with the product that we deliver. The person that they had sold them the building, or the person they spoke with on the phone, all the way through the process, from the first time they see me online to when they send that email, the response they get, the whole way through, that they have a wow experience, not the wrong kind of wow.
Yeah.
The right
The
kind.
right kind of wow.
That this
Wow.
structure, exactly, that this structure is built with them in mind.
For me, communication is key, and maybe I'm basing this on my own personal experience, but also just within the shed industry, you don't want to be a slave to your phone, to your email, and that. But I still am rather somewhat surprised at the amount of distance that goes between phone calls. At one point, I don't know if it's on there anymore. I probably need to fix it. I had my email, or my voicemail said who you've reached, and it said, I will call you back by the end of today's business day. Because I set that priority on myself
You're right.
to make sure before I went to bed at night, I'm not going to leave anybody hanging on anything. If it's a tough decision that requires some more time, I'm going to call them and say, I haven't thought that through yet. I'm not comfortable making the decision yet, but I want you to know I got your message, and give me a little bit of time, give me a day or two to get back with you. Is that important to your customers? I mean, how do you feel your customers feel whenever they're coming up here looking for an Esh's building? They can run to the next guy who's selling sheds, and if that guy's ready to, get his 10%, maybe he'll promise them the world. Yeah, sure, my shed hauler can put that 10-foot wide shed in an 8-foot wide space. Of course they can, or just promise the moon.
Over promise, under deliver.
Yeah.
That's not something we want to do.
Yeah.
We want to be realistic, but at the same time, I believe you're correct on communication over communicate is very important. That they don't get the customer does not get the feeling that when they come up onto your lot or come across your website that they're being pushed into it just so the salesperson is making a sale. We want a lasting relationship.
Yeah, that's good.
It's extremely important. This is when my driver leaves their property. This is not the last time we want to see them. You know what? That's
sure. Yeah, you're here in this community still past the sale.
Absolutely, exactly. And who are they going to tell you about us? I want them to tell their neighbors and their friends, their cousins, the good things about Esches and what we can do to solve their problem.
That's good. So what are these? You're jumping in. You're 4 years in now or so. You've had a lot of these different surprises, like trying to, understand the customer a little bit more. I mean, you're used to, building forms and all these different things. And you're like, hey, I gotta relate to these people. Now, this is totally different. What on the production?
Service, people
service.
Industry, yes.
It's the people industry, it's not the shed industry.
Exactly. That's a big part.
Yeah.
That's what I tell my builders, my salespeople, drivers. See, it's a funny situation in a sense. It's interesting.
Yeah.
You got your salesperson that says we can do anything.
Yeah.
And your builder that says why did you sell this building? And your driver said, I can't get into that situation. And my position is bringing all that together.
Yeah.
And that can be interesting, but we all need each other.
That's right. Yeah.
The builder needs the salesperson.
Yeah.
For my short time in the industry, not all, but majority of builders are not necessarily sales people. Salespeople are not builders. So it takes each one. Each one is very important.
From a production side, what do you think has kind of surprised you? Has material availability been what you've wanted it to be? Are you able to track it accurately? Do you feel good about not only where it is but where it's going? I thought you were going to end with I was like, oh no. Yep, all's good.
We have learned a lot in that side as well. Of course, during COVID, availability was, if you're willing to pay, you could probably get it.
Yeah.
Not always, but that has
leveled
out a lot more. For sure, in your raw material side of it. We have been able to, we've got ourselves systems and processes in place to track, and it seems to be working fairly well. Still not exactly where I want it to be, but we're getting there.
Expanding? Are you guys hoping to expand? I mean, is it like in the cards to say, hey, we want to do more, we want to go bigger, we want to create more footprint and have more opportunity in other places? We're good where we are. What's your thoughts? I mean, obviously, probably stable where you are before you grow, but
absolutely, I think it's very important for us to, as we grow, we're able to handle what we take on.
Yeah.
That's important to us, that we don't, grow too big, and it's always that's a challenge. You enlarge your sales footprint, so to speak, and then production is a struggle, or you ramp up your production and maybe you don't have enough locations to sell on. So that can be, we face that that can be with at first our stock was very low, and so we ramped that up, but it took us, and we ramped sales up, so at the same time we sold a lot, but we couldn't get any stock. There was probably 2 years there we fought, we were bare.
It's always a balance, isn't it? I would imagine, for
very much so, and exactly, if we're, what what's the limit there? Where do you draw the line? And we've learned a lot in that. Where do you draw the line?
Yeah.
When your stock in your what's the minimum you're going to have on the lots? What's do you just cram that thing full? So we've learned a lot in that.
What's the why behind Esches? I mean, build a good quality shed, serve your customer, your community. You know, are you guys thinking, hey, maybe it's good to put out some cookie cutter, you know, price point type stuff? What kind of drives your thought process there from a management perspective?
We, be honest here, we actually shy away from the cookie cutter.
Yeah.
Nothing wrong with it. We specialize in doing a customized building.
Yeah.
That is one area where we feel like we can do well and have done well in the past. I like to be able to stand behind every single structure that I put out with our manufacturer's warranty that we provide. So we eliminated some that were being built when we purchased the business. We're just, if somebody wants to build them, that's perfectly fine.
Sure. Yeah, of course.
That's where we draw the line.
A place for everybody, right?
Correct. So yeah, that's.
Man, you guys do a lot. I mean.
And we've added a lot of different lines. You know, chicken coops, dog
Sure.
kennels, the run-ins.
Selling more chicken coops right now? With the price
We
of
have
eggs?
seen an uptick. I'll be honest with you. We have. I found that kind of interesting. I wondered if I wouldn't, and then all of a sudden, there we go.
Yeah, everybody's
It's-
putting their tickets
exactly.
tired of them. The $9 carton of eggs.
Exactly.
And you guys do, like, I mean.
Now, don't ask me too much of questions in that book because Judson changes that up about every 6 months.
We'll blame him for sure. No, I got you.
No, we keep adding new products and new things, so we have to add that into our brochure. And sometimes, I'm gonna be honest with you, I don't always know what's.
Oh yeah, it's hard. It's,
You know,
well,
keep
there's
it up
that
with
much
it.
change happening.
And I don't sell anymore. So
You're in the people business, man. You're running a team. You know what I mean? Like, and that's a family-owned business. I love that. But you guys is, I'll be honest with you, man. One thing that I take away from this, and if people haven't checked it, maybe it's on your website. I don't know. We'll have to ask Judd. But gosh, your double wides catch your attention as soon as you come onto the lot. I mean, you guys do some really cool stuff. And we got a chance to walk around and look at some of them a little bit, and I want to do some more whenever we get done with the interviews. But yeah, man, what a cool product and cool thought. What is the why for Esches? Why do you guys do what you do? I mean, this is the biggest investment you probably have. A lot of people say your business is your largest investment. You know, some people, I don't know, some people will work 9 to 5 every day, you know, and teach. And, you know, some people go to work every day and work retail. Some people go to work every day and pastor or whatever it is. What's kind of the thought behind we want to serve the community through sheds? I'm just curious at sort of your family philosophy there.
Well, I love to make people happy. I like to see them happy with what product that we put out. I love to go to work. I don't look at it as a job necessarily. This is my life. This is what it revolves around.
Yeah.
So got a great team here. Great people. Yeah, we'll do anything for each other.
I was so welcomed with your team coming in, and we just hit it on the right day, didn't we? Because
Yes.
we showed up on a birthday day, and you know, I love opportunities like this. I worked for a shed manufacturer at one point that they would have a birthday cake once a month for all the employees that month
Okay.
that had a birthday. So it was just gonna be a birthday cake every month. I thought that was pretty cool it's little things like that. I mean, they don't replace the pay. We all make money and we all
Correct.
do what we do, but gosh, those moments make you feel like you're not really going to work. This is what, to me, what's a little special about the shed industry, you know, because you can go to Eshes, but then you can go to Pennsylvania and you can go to Washington and Alabama or wherever, and you kind of get a little bit of the same experience. Faith drives a lot of the industry forward, you know, and I think serving our fellow man is very important in this industry. So serving the customer too seems to make sense. Where's the shed industry going? What do you think? You're in 5 years now. You probably tell me all about concrete, what you thought it was going to do and where it's going, but where do you think the shed industry is going? Do you think we've hit this magical bubble that's going to pop, this saturation of the market, or do you think we just got a lot more to go? And I'd be glad to give you my thoughts on it, but I'm curious yours.
Sure. Well, I'm excited. I am not down about it. I feel like it can be more work for all of us. Sales primarily, but on up into the leadership of the company, the management of the company. I believe it'll take all of us more work. I say that because it'll be price point. I think is going to come into is going to come up probably a bigger factor than it had the last couple of years. But I'm not willing to compromise.
Quality matters.
Quality matters for us. Now, we were able to drop our prices on our buildings, so price is important to me. As far I'm not here keeping my prices high just because, and you know, it's important for me to be in that price range, but at the same time, you know, my buildings are priced somewhat higher than competition because, you know,
because you can sell the quality.
The quality, correct, and the quality and the more lumber and such that are in the buildings. So that's my thought is they'll be hard to work. But I think the ones that are willing to take on the work, that are willing to go out of the box, so to speak, and new ideas. I think it's good. I actually think it's good for myself. It's good for the industry when we have to think out of the box. There's new, and I see it the last couple of years. The marketing things have changed. It's changing.
Research and development is something that I think is just imperative over the next few years because, we had this conversation before and I maybe danced around sometimes talking about it on air. Hey, listen, you're not going to make everyone happy every time, are you?
Absolutely.
You know, so my thought is, you know, are we gonna have to see some changes in the industry? Is it, you know, we're gonna have to see some changes in things like rent home, you know, and how we address those in repossessions or you know, voluntary pickups, involuntary pickups, which I think is the right way to say
right.
it. Are we gonna have to see a change in the way that we're seeing acquisitions, right? So we're seeing companies. This is my thought, and that's what I say I'm dancing around is. We talked about this. A lot of customers. See, we're inside the industry. You got 1,000 people listening that are inside the industry right now. We know you can almost drive down the road and spot a shed, and you know the company.
Correct.
But a customer, unfortunately, and I think I'm right on this, they don't. You know, and you can market as well as you possibly want to, but isn't it really hard to tell sometimes the difference? From a customer perspective, when they see 3 to 4 different types of sheds in a 2-mile stretch, that maybe they recognize it or have some family or ties in the community that realize it. But to them, all sheds are kind of built equal. So you know, they might, if they're a price point customer, they might come in and shop a 10 by 16 and hey, who's got the lowest price? And it don't matter. What do you think? And maybe this is a question for Judson. But what do you think is the way to sell them on an Eshes building, because you do sell quality? Is it after the fact, service after the sale? Like, what do you guys do to to justify, that quality.
Right. Great question. And that's
That's why they pay me big money right there.
that's
Shannon,
right.
is those good questions.
Well, and I think it's you have to get to know your customer when they come onto your lot, or you talk to them on the phone.
Yeah.
What are they looking for? How can we help them?
Mhm.
Or how can we solve their problem? I believe that's a very important, if they're immediately price point and your salesperson is immediately price point, you're probably not going we probably won't win. They're probably not going to buy from us. But Judson does a great job in training and helping develop our salespeople. And me and him both, we work on it together a lot, developing self-development. Trying to because this is constant learning with how to better serve the customer. And getting away from that price point.
Yeah.
And some you're just not going to win.
No, that's right.
You're just not going to win every one. But that's what we've learned, and we have closed a lot of deals by going back to the quality, the who we are as a company,
Mhm.
and what we stand for, and how we stand behind them after they buy. Service. We have a full-time service guy, and that's a selling point
For sure. Note to self: edit out all parts that talk positive about Judson. Just kidding.
We don't want to get his head.
We don't want to get it to the
Yeah,
head there.
correct. It makes my job a lot harder.
I'm sure you're gonna have to add on now.
Hey, exactly.
Just that's
I'm
a
gonna
place for his ego.
Get his office bigger, and it's going to cost me a lot of money. So
Well, I get it. I mean, you gotta do what you gotta do. Good help's hard to find.
Correct. He's a great guy.
No, I sense the passion in like the. You go into a lot of shed companies. They say family owned, family operated. I think there's something more to that than just what's on the brochure in ink. I think that there's a feeling you get whenever you show up to a place that everyone's working in unison to make the customer feel welcome, feel as though they're buying a good quality shed. They've got faith in the opportunity to buy from you, that you're going to do the right thing for them. A lot of those things in the way that you handle yourself that are unspoken, that aren't like sales like gimmicks.
Correct.
Those things are seen through people who have this built-in meter that can judge whether or not they're being sold or whether they're being serviced. I just think there's a difference. There's a big difference in an order taker and a salesperson. So what is your company doing whenever you walk in the door that matters most? I know I got that feeling whenever I came in here. I mean, outside of the fact well, you fed me, so that helped. Maybe
I don't have all my salespeople in such a standard with a sandwich, ready to hand it.
You should have a plate of
So that's maybe an idea.
potato salad with some rice and gumbo.
Man, that stuff was good.
That was amazing. It was good food. We're going to talk about it all the way home. But I felt that. So what does, there's something in the air in the way that you lead from the top down that sets the expectation to me, that everyone understands. I mean, your guy met us. Just want you to know, he met us and was out the door before we could get up here from the car. He's here. He's got his headphones on and he's working, and he come out the door and was shaking our hand on the steps. You don't get that everywhere. You don't teach that everywhere. So it's you can get around a company and kind of get the feeling for what the top down model looks like. And to me, that's just the key, is getting your vision spread throughout the entire company. But I'm rambling. I'm sorry.
No, that's I think it comes back to he at the end of the day, he's a salesperson, and We love Terry.
Yeah.
Great guy. And it's that, what's inside of us will
Yeah.
come out. Do we bog ourselves down with stress, with all those things? Those things come, but what's driving us, what's inside of us, will come out. And so I think for me, it's knowing that I got a team that'll take care of issues, customers, is extremely important, and it gives me a good, I can at the end of the day, I am thankful that I have a good team that's going to take care of my customers wherever they're at today. So that's, you can't always teach that.
Yeah.
It's hard to find. So I don't take no credit to myself, because that's not it's not taught.
Yeah.
It's their personality. I look
Yeah.
as you hire people and you add people to your company, personality of that person is important. Not everybody's a fit. So, and then after they're within the company, bring that the customer service is extremely important. That their needs are fulfilled, and that details all the way through the process of sales, from point of sale to delivery, the whole way through, that is well taken care of.
That's a perfect little soundbite that you could repurpose and throw in your social media, man, because you said that perfectly for what the heart of your company is. Looking back, Chad, what has been your favorite moment over the past 4 years, if you could name one? Because you were like, oh no, we're not going to do this, and then you got into it. What's a moment where you could say you laid your head on the pillow at night and said, man, I'm glad we did this because today was cool?
You got me on that one.
Hey, that's why I'm telling you. Paying me the big money.
I'm going to have to think on
Just
that
kidding.
one for just a minute. It was not the day I hired Judd.
Yeah, we'll get to bad moments shortly after.
I'm trying to think. I might have to think of that.
That's
one
all
for a
right.
minute.
Think on it. If it comes back to you, I'd be curious your thoughts. I know that when you're looking at doing something and it's scary. I mean, podcasts are scary. Going on my own was scary.
Absolutely.
Having security to not do that, and then taking a leap, taking a chance. You know what I mean? Just trusting in God's promise to say, gosh, man, I don't know where it's going to go. Isn't that what faith is about,
Absolutely.
And then getting to have cool moments, if you were to ask me the question, I'd tell you there's just really too many to answer. Getting to know folks like yourself. I mean, yeah, of course, I showed up on a good day where you're feeding a birthday employee, but, those moments can't be planned, and they're just fun.
Correct.
I used to come to here quite a bit. I've actually got a sister who lives in Bowling Green, so it's just not too terribly far away. And yeah, it's getting to meet people who have a passion for what they do. I think probably for me, just getting a chance to get around people who really love the shed industry. Sheds is a unique thing. It's just a shed, isn't it? It's just storage, but for some reason it's so much more because of the people. So probably just too many for me to list. But thankful that I did take the leap of faith to jump out and do it and get a chance to meet people. And really what happens is, to me, as you build the relationships with your employees, and for me it would be for my listeners, and it would be for those that I interview, you get an email, you get a text, gosh, 5 text messages sitting here on this, and somebody telling me about, oh, that was cool, or a video or something, and saying such kind words. It's almost like it's addictive, isn't it? And you got to remember where the talents come from. A sovereign God that gives us all these things and points and puts us in the direction we ought to be.
He expects us to use those talents and.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, man. I'd say you guys are using them here, serving your customer. I always enjoy sitting down with a shed manufacturer. You guys have so many things to think about, so many things on your plate. You wear so many different hats. I know you guys are serving the Middle Kentucky and Middle Tennessee areas, and I've heard your name before, and it's been all positive.
That's good.
You know, that's gosh, what more can you ask for? I'm not in your community here, but I can't help but if they come in and get to meet the people that I got to meet today, they're going to want to buy a shed from Meshes, I can guarantee it. So,
well, good.
Man, I appreciate it. Appreciate what you do, your heart for God, and our conversation that we talked about, your leadership from the top down. And just appreciate you being on the show more than anything, man. Glad to know you, and what you do.
You as well.
Well, I appreciate this because I learned more from you guys than
I got a little. You probably don't remember. You were in the NBSRA this last time in
Richmond or in
Richmond, Virginia. There, I sat right beside you there the first session.
That's right. Yeah.
And you didn't recognize you, but I thought it was like he's shit.
And we hadn't met yet.
We had not met
at that point.
No.
Yeah.
So that's the first time I've seen
I hope that was I hope that I was kind.
Sort of.
Just go ahead and tell people the truth. Tell them.
No.
Yeah, I remember, and then the mind reader guy was there, and then I think after we talked, I got up and left.
You did.
And
I think you probably went to sit somewhere else. You didn't want to sit beside me.
Didn't want to be seen with the likes of you, Chad. I went outside and I was working a booth, and then I stood at the door.
Right. Mm-hmm.
I stood at the door, and he started mentioning people's names, and I was gone. And I was like, oh no, I messed up his whole system. I was like, because I think he said my name. I'm not sure. He's like, I think the gentleman here, which I think he said.
You're right. I think
he
you're
said
right.
my name, and I was like, wow, how did he know that? I was literally there for like 10 minutes.
That guy was amazing.
It was pretty cool. What do you think of the NBSRA?
It's great.
It was cool.
Great. That was my second year.
Yeah.
There, the shed show, the NBSRA. I've been going every year since. I'm in the shed industry, and I think it's a great. Coming into the industry, something totally new. So I, on purpose, put myself completely into going to everything that I can get my hands on, getting any information I can, learning as much as I can. So I think that's helped me a lot in getting to know the industry, getting to know the people in the industry. A lot of great folks in the industry.
For sure.
Man, I love the industry. And so I think it's very important. More people that can go to the NBSRA, the better.
Yeah.
There's a lot of knowledge to be gotten there.
For sure.
A lot of it is rent to own oriented, but there's still a lot of how to do things legally, rightfully, which is very important.
Very beneficial to the shed manufacturer.
Very much so. You would think that it's maybe not that beneficial until you start to go.
And you had such cool speakers up there,
Exactly.
like the candidness of Ed Wynn, and loved it.
Yeah, exactly.
What a personality, and there's cool stuff.
Great
taken
guy.
over. We're actually in the process of getting ready to interview a litigator, an RTO. Here coming up pretty soon.
Okay.
So I don't know in what order these shows will come out or whatever, but got a chance to meet them, and that connection kind of happened through there. And I don't know if Jonathan gets the credit for that, Jonathan Orr. Gosh, what a leader in the industry in the way that he. I'll give him credit in the sense that he. I feel like he's really done a great thing with that. And I don't really know what everybody's title is and all that. I just know what I see. So
Absolutely.
But yeah, what a cool thing, and that was my second one, and looking forward to next year.
Exactly.
And just learning, really just being a student, you know, teach where you can, learn
Correct.
always. And if you're a shed manufacturer, highly encourage. I mean, that's, gosh, you want to talk about an off the cuff, you know, conversation piece. That was it. The last 5 minutes is you're a shed manufacturer. You say you should go.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So there you go. Just being involved in your craft and being a more serious, whatever you are, shed hauler, shed manufacturer, shed seller, shed supplier, you know, return provider.
Whether you're a salesperson or own a manufacturing company and you have sales people employed, it's extremely important that you understand how rent-owned works.
That's right.
I am still learning, but I have a lot better handle on it today than I did 2 years ago, thanks to a lot of people in the shed industry that have helped me going to the NBSRA, all those things, extremely helpful, because that is one way that I look at serving the customer, is knowing what you're talking about, knowing the ins and outs of rent-out.
Well, same with trade shows, barbecues, events, and dealer days, and I'm always asking people, I'd love to be at your dealer day, your dealer event, and things like that, because I'm not necessarily looking in that sales position much anymore, but there is certainly this hidden secret, this hidden goal of mine, if you will, to I don't know if it's so hidden, but to increase the industry, to increase the industry as a whole, you know, and I think we can do that through good communication. I think we can do that through information such as dealers having a good handle on what selling RTO looks like, as opposed to just gaining sales commission.
Correct.
Getting out the door.
Exactly.
You know, maybe understanding the top-down model of what that RTO provider, the service they're offering, sort of the expectations for that service that they offer, vice versa. So, dude, I love it. We could probably talk another hour. Yeah, I appreciate it, and just appreciate what you do. What you do makes possible what I do, because you manufacture and sell and deliver sheds, and that gives me this platform to be able to talk about it. Hopefully bring something of education and entertainment to people.
Absolutely.
As they're riding down the road today or wherever they might be. So, hey, we're a faith-filled industry, man. I know you love the Lord. We've sat and talked about it all day. I think we visited and ministered to each other more today than we talked about sheds.
Probably.
And I love that. Do you care to just pray over the industry as we close here today?
Sure, absolutely. Kind gracious Heavenly Father, thank you for your love to us. Thank you for allowing us to serve you in our industry that we're in, and just help us to be a blessing as we go out every day and try to be a light to those around us. Help us to shine bright and clear, and just ask that you would go with us and watch over us through the remainder of this day. Just pray all this in Jesus' name. Amen.
Amen. Thanks for what you do, man. Appreciate it.
Thank you for coming by. I appreciate you.
I loved it. You guys have awesome buildings.
Well, thank you.
Awesome. I'll go out here and check some more of them out, because that's what a shed geek does, I guess.